What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Double A have here. Please like, share, subscribe. So this video is going to be a little different. I'm going to be talking sports. Um, Now, I've never actually written down like a Mount Rushmore or a top 10 or whatever. I've never actually written it down ever, But in my mind, I have like a pretty good uh, image of who would be in my top, 20. And just certain names just pop up and it's like, okay, nah, that person's not in the top 10. That person's not in the top 20. Like, for instance, in my opinion, Kobe Bryant's not a top 10 player. Now, I know there's a lot of people that will be upset with that. But, it is what it is. In my opinion, he's not a top 10 player. There's people that I have to put above him. He's definitely in my top 20. Probably top 15. Probably top 15. But see, again, I'd have to write it down, all this stuff and like think about it because, you want to do everyone justice. A lot of people, recency bias is very real, one. And then also people get lost to the annals of time. It's just what happens, unfortunately. But, when making these lists or, stating these lists, you have to, take that into account. You don't want to make a list and then be like, I forgot about this, like, nah, if you're going to do it right. So KD made a top 12 list. And then Nick Wright makes his. KD's list is a little, I don't know. But I will play it and then I'm going to comment.
Himself and Akeem. He had Steph, Shaq, and others on the bench. So with that...
Okay, so looking at KD's all-time roster. This is KD's all-time 12-man roster, i.e. like NBA team. Like his the best in his mind or whatever the case may be. So first and foremost, LeBron James at point guard. Okay, let's put a stop to that, man. I mean, honestly, it's probably too late to put a stop to it because the nigga is like, 36? But come on, this notion of LeBron James being a point guard, one, is disrespectful, and two, it's just untrue. Like LeBron James, like, can he play point guard, quote unquote? And that is definitely in quotes. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Could Michael Jordan play point guard? Yes, he could. Kobe Bryant played point guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, AD played point guard in high school. If you want to really go there. You know what I'm saying? Could Kevin Durant play point guard, quote unquote? Yes, but when you say that, you mean like bring up the ball and get assists. That's what people attribute to playing point guard. Now, don't get me wrong. LeBron James averages, like for his career, 7 assists, which is great. We have to keep an account. Like the dude, has a high usage rate. He always has the ball in his hand. LeBron James plays the same way. He's been playing the same way for years. He has the ball in his hand all the goddamn time. When you have the ball in your hands that often, you're going to get assists. It's just what's going to happen. That's just what's going to happen. For instance, Russell Westbrook, he's been averaging triple doubles for at least like 3 years now. So that means he's been averaging at least 10 assists for 3 years now. No one's ever going to drop his name in freaking best point guard of all time. Is that a coincidence? No, it's because people fucking know like those numbers don't count the same. They don't count the same because they know that he's out there trying to get assists. So he's gonna get them, like, they're not all going to be in the flow of the game. It'll be an instance where it's like, oh, he has a fast break, but then someone's coming up behind him, so then he'll give an assist like that, a couple times. Stuff like that, LeBron James, not so much, because, again, he has the ball in his hand so damn often. LeBron James can get 7 assists in the first quarter. You know what I'm saying? If you ever watch LeBron James, he comes out and when especially in like regular season games, he'll come out and it's like he's saying to himself, "Oh, I'm not gonna do nothing in the first quarter besides like get assists, and then the second quarter I'm gonna score," and then like he like maps it all out. So, can LeBron quote unquote play point guard? Yes, he can. But for LeBron to be on a starting 5 as a point guard on an all-time greatest, it's just disrespectful. You know what I mean? It is completely and utterly disrespectful, because obviously, he's taking up a point guard spot, essentially. that he doesn't need to be there. Now at the two, Michael Jordan. We're not even going to discuss that. That's true or correct. There's no one else you could put there, And then the next person that you possibly could put there, he has it at the three, where LeBron should be. So that's my issue. Like Kobe Bryant should not be the starting three. LeBron. Whoa, wait a second. I'm looking at something. I just noticed something. As I was going to say, LeBron should be a starting three. I was thinking that it's close between him and Bird, and then I look down. I don't even see Bird on this list. So like that's another huge issue. Another huge issue. And that's interesting that KD would leave Larry Bird off an all-time list because they're both great shooters, both 50, 40, 90 type guys. So surprised that he would leave that off. But all right. So anyway, no LeBron at point guard. Jordan, yeah, Kobe. I mean, since you put LeBron at point guard, I get it, but still, Kobe. Who was greater, Larry Bird or Kobe Bryant? I think Larry Bird goes above Kobe. Again, like I said, Kobe's probably like a top 15, definitely top 20 in my book. Larry Bird won 3 MVPs in a row. Larry Bird was as Stephen A. Smith would say, was a bad man. Go watch his tapes. Go watch him. Literally look up the stats and watch the tapes, and look up stats and everybody else of that era. He was going against Magic and beating them. I mean, like the dude was just on a whole other level, man. So yeah, Larry Bird is definitely above Kobe in my opinion. KD has himself as the power forward. All right, I get that. You want to put yourself up there. In my opinion, KD is definitely like talent wise, he's probably definitely top 15, top 10 talent wise, maybe even higher. But based off career so far, I can't put him. But and this is what I'm talking about. See, he's put himself at the 4. I think for the majority of his career, he played the 3. I know the game has recently changed, so now he does play the 4, especially with his injury. But, dude, you put yourself above Tim Duncan, and then Tim Duncan not even on the fucking bench? Oh, my God. And he has Hakeem at the center. I'm cool with that. In my opinion, Hakeem was like had the most, like, skills of any big man I've ever seen. That's literally why everyone went to go work out with Hakeem to learn the post. Like he's a freaking post guru. So you want to put him there? Okay, great. But obviously, honorable mentions to Kareem and Bill Russell, who neither are on the bench. Yeah, the problem is like this dude's bench is horrendous. And then second, his starting 5 is just all out of whack. The only person he really got right is Jordan, and then Hakeem I can make the argument for. Okay, and LeBron could be on the starting 5. I'm cool with that too, but definitely in the wrong spot. Okay, now you got Steph Curry on the bench, the greatest shooter of all time. It's hard for me to debate that. You know what I mean? Would I sit here and say that he's in the top 12? No, he's not. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I would put Isaiah Thomas in there before I would put Steph Curry in there. Magic. Okay, yeah, Magic. Magic should be the fucking starting point guard. Like that's where he should be. He shouldn't be on the bench. T-Mac shouldn't be on his list. T-Mac, he barely made the fucking Hall of Fame as it is. T-Mac had a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong. He was like lightning in the glass, but obviously injuries. It did what it did to his career, like freaking Grant Hill. Grant Hill was different, but if you guys remember Brandon Roy, same thing. It happens, but we can't overinflate and stuff like that. We're not doing a freaking hypothetical goddamn roster here. Okay, so T-Mac, no, get off the list. Dirk, great player, great career. Sorry, you don't belong on this list above freaking Tim Duncan. Not at all. And then they got KG up there. KG don't belong on this list either. Oh, and Anthony Davis damn sure don't belong on here. Shaq, okay, I can make the argument for Shaq. I can make the argument. I still don't like having, not having at least Bill Russell or Kareem on this at all. But that's his list. So if I was gonna do this list, my point guard obviously would be Magic. 2 would be Jordan. 3 would be LeBron. My 4 is Duncan. My 5 would be Bill Russell. Bill Russell would be my 5. On my bench for point guard, I'd have Isaiah Thomas. Do I need 2 point guards? They did 2 point guards, but they probably did 2 point guards because they got LeBron out of fucking spot. So I'll do Isaiah Thomas on the bench. Obviously, Larry Bird on the bench, backing up LeBron. I could do Kobe backing up Jordan. So that's 3 down. If I do a backup 4 for Duncan, who would I put? That's a great question, actually. So I'll come back to the 4. To the 5, I'll put Hakeem. Oh no, never mind. My 4 would be Karl Malone. My 5 would be Hakeem. And then I got 2 more reserve spots. I'll go. Who would I want? That's tough. I really want to say Gary Payton. I really like Gary Payton. That man was a freaking defensive menace. And more than that, but he was just lockdown. Shoot. Let me look at this list, see anybody on here that I would put. I don't know. Let's see what Nick does.
Our guy Nick went to work putting together his own starting lineup and bench. Nick, take us through yours.
Okay, so KD got this kind of right. He got 8 of the right 12.
Do y'all remember when this nigga Nick Wright had no hair? And then now this? Does anyone know what happened to that? Or what happened with that? If anyone knows, please let me know. Because I'm assuming he did some crazy hair regrowth shit. Because this nigga used to be walking around looking like American History X out here. And now he looking like Joe Cool and shit. So I always wonder what the fuck happened with that. And if that's the case, because this nigga stayed caping for LeBron. So nigga, why you ain't let LeBron know? But then again, LeBron also has some hair regrowth. So I can't really say that, to be honest. Maybe he did tell a nigga. Or maybe LeBron told him. Maybe they worked it out like that. I don't know. Because LeBron's hair was fading, and then it stopped. And then, reversed, like the cha-cha slide. That shit was reverse. That nigga had even stopped wearing the headband. His hair started growing so goddamn much.
But the starting lineup's a mess, and some of these late additions make me...
Yeah, the starting lineup is a mess. I mean, there's 3 players. 3 out of 5 is correct. 1 out of position. I'm not sure if I can call that a mess, but I get what he's saying. I get it, but I'm not sure if I would go that far as to call it a mess.
I know KD's younger than me, but he's not 20 years younger than me. Makes me wonder how much of NBA history KD has actually, watched or taken in over the years. So let me give you my starting 5 in my roster. Magic is clearly the greatest point.
Okay, you start by saying Magic is the greatest point guard, but then you don't even have him as the starting point guard. Okay, so yeah, he changed 2 people. So the 3 out of 5 was he put Kareem. He took Hakeem off. Okay, again, I'm not gonna argue that. I'm not gonna argue. You want to put Kareem, you want to put Hakeem, you want to put Borat. So I'm not gonna argue that. If you want to put Wilt, I'm not gonna argue that either. There's just certain things I'm not gonna argue when it comes to that center spot. Shaq, I would argue. Shaq, I feel like I can't put him on the level with those guys. I just can't. Can't do that. So yeah, Shaq, I think he's just right outside of that level. Because Shaq, he left a lot on the table. And, it's sad, but he definitely left a lot on the table.
Guard ever. But for this team, Steph makes more sense to start. He adds perfect spacing. You're going to not have to worry about defense at all of his liabilities because of the 4 guys behind him. And then you've got, after Steph, the second greatest player ever, the greatest player.
Well, I think it depends on what kind of system this team's running. Because, not for nothing, between Jordan and Kareem, they're walking buckets. Literally, they're walking buckets. So it depends on what system you're running. Because if you got Jordan and Kareem, doesn't really make a difference if you put Steph or Magic. No, not really. I mean, obviously, Steph could definitely stretch the floor, which is huge. But, if they can't stop Kareem and no one's stopping Jordan, then it doesn't really matter at that point. You can have Magic out there, getting out in transition, getting everybody involved. And shit, LeBron James became a better 3-point shooter, so shit, he could stretch the floor. He likes to shoot threes now anyway, so put Magic back in there where he belongs. Let's not get disrespectful. And Steph could come off the bench, or Isaiah Thomas. I don't even understand why he's like on this list. Like, well, how's Isaiah Thomas not on neither one of these niggas' list? Isaiah Thomas, like, literally gets disrespected for many reasons. The whole walking off the floor when the Bulls swept them, and then the whole bad boy Pistons image and shit like that. I get it. But like, we can't lose, sight of how great this guy was, to carry his team, or lead his, not carry, but to lead his team. He led the team. He didn't carry them. That was a great team. He led his team to 2 championships, you know? So, and Bird was still playing during that time. Obviously, he wasn't the same player because he had a lot of injuries. But then also Magic was still playing at that time. Jordan obviously was playing at that time. So it's not like this guy freaking, just got 2 rings. Like, he did it in the middle of, a great time. So you got to give that man credit.
Ever, the greatest power forward ever, and arguably the greatest defensive big ever, other than Hakeem, and then Kareem.
Okay, so. Oh, wait, hold on.
The 3rd greatest player ever.
Bitcoin, the best money we've ever had. With a different kind of money comes a different kind of card.
Well, that's pretty much it. I gave you a top 10 to 12. The last 2, I would have to think about how I want to do it. Do I want to do it in like numerical order, who I think is the best 12 players? Because I didn't even make the list like that. I made the list according to position. Now, if I just made a list of the greatest 12 players to play, regardless of position, just like talent for talent, like if I was doing like a draft, like when teams do the drafts, they typically draft like the best player and not so much what position they need. So if I was going to do it like that, it would be different. Obviously I don't, Steph Curry wouldn't even be, well, he wasn't on my list anyway. But you get what I'm saying. So the top 10 I gave you, it was pretty much 2 at each position. And I'm comfortable with that. But yeah, it was just interesting that KD's was crazy. And I'm very curious to know why the fuck he put LeBron at the point guard. And again, we got to stop with that whole LeBron James point guard stuff. Like, LeBron James is a point forward. There's been many a point forwards in the NBA that we haven't called point guards. So let's just, pump the brakes on that one. All right.